Hello students, welcome to the second video on timer and counter of PIC18. This video is basically for Unit 2 of Processor Architecture. Now, in the first video, we have seen that the difference between the processor, that is microprocessor, and microcontroller. One of the best advantage of the microcontroller is its inbuilt timer and counter. So in this particular video, we are going to focus on the timer of PIC18. The PIC18 has 2 to 5 timers depending upon the family member. They are referred to as timer 0, timer 1, timer 2, timer 3 and timer 4. Each of these timers are going to be different from each other. Either they will count for 16-bit or they will go for 8-bit. They can be used as a timer to generate a time delay, or they can be used as a counter to count the external events which are happening outside the microcontroller. Now let's discuss the programming for timer 0 and timer 1. Now every timer needs a clock pulse to tick. The clock source can be internal or external also. But if we use the internal clock source, then 1/4 of the frequency of the crystal oscillator, which is applied on the oscillator 1 and oscillator 2 pins, is fed into the timer, and that time it is used to generate a time delay. For that reason, it is called as the timer. Now the second option, if we are using a clock source from the external, that is by choosing the external clock source, we feed the pulse through one of the PIC18 pins, and that's why it is called as a counter. Now this time the counter is going to count the external events which are happening. Now they can be anything. They can be the sensor which is connected at the door side to count the number of people who are entering in a room. So likewise, they can be used as a counter also, or they can be used as a timer also. That is a time delay generator. They can be used for generating the time delay. But at that time, they are going to use the oscillator frequency divided by 4. That means we can say that the fourth part of the oscillator frequency being used by the timer if it is using the internal clock pulses. Now, before going to the programming or how it is going to work as a timer, we need to see some of the basic registers which are used by the timer for this operation. So many of the PIC18 timers are 16-bit wide. That's what we discussed on the first slide of the introduction. The PIC18 has actually a 8-bit architecture. But in that case, then the 16-bit timer is used as 2 separate registers. Those are called as a low byte, which is indicated as timer cross L. Cross will be replaced by the timer number which goes from 0 to 4, and high byte TMR cross H, again the same one. Now each timer also have a TCON register called as a timer control register for setting the different modes of operation. Now, in the next segment of the video, we are going to discuss the timer 0 register and how they are programmed. Because in the last segment, we have just discussed that what are the necessary registers which are required to program the timer. Now, we are going to see actually one by one. Now, timer 0 can be used as a 8-bit or a 16-bit timer. Remember that from the timer 0 to 4, now specifically we are discussing the timer 0, which can be used as a 8-bit or a 16-bit timer. The 16-bit register of timer 0 is accessed as low byte and high byte. For example, TMR 0L and TMR 0H. The low byte of the register is called as TMR 0L, and the high byte of the register referred as TMR 0H. Now these registers can be accessed like any other special function register. We can use the instruction, for example, move WF TMR 0F. Now this particular instruction is going to move the data from the working register into TMR 0L. That is nothing but a low byte of the timer. That's how I can load the value in the low byte of the timer 0. At the same time, the next instruction as move FF. FF stands for the file register. So I am moving the data from the timer 0 register to port B. That's how I can load the value. I can transfer the value to port B. So in this particular segment of the video, or in this particular segment, we have seen how I can load the different value in a timer register by simply using the move instruction. Now the timer 0 high and low byte register, just which we have discussed, they look like this. So D0 to D7 are associated with timer 0L, that is low byte of timer 0, and D8 to D15 are associated with high byte of the timer. Now let's discuss the most important register, that is a timer 0 control register, which is used to set the different operational mode of the timer 0. Now the TCON register is a 8-bit register which is used to control the timer. Now let's see the format of the TCON register. Okay, so I am going to discuss the one by one bit. Now let's start with the first bit, that is a D7 bit, as the timer 0 on bit. So it is simply used for on off control of the timer 0. When it is 1, it is going to start the timer. When it is 0, it is going to stop the timer 0. That's why the name as timer 0 on. Timer 0 on. The next bit as the timer 0 8-bit oblique 16-bit selection bit. Remember that in the first segment only I have told you that I can use the timer 0 as 8-bit, or I can use it as a 16-bit also. So this particular bit is used to select the timer either as a 8-bit timer as well as a counter, or as a 16-bit timer or a counter. So when the value is 1, then it is a 8-bit, and when the value is 0, then it is a 16-bit. Now the next bit as the timer 0 clock source. Remember that our timer can be used as a timer, or that is a delay generator, or it can be used as a counter. So when it is using the external pulse, then it is equals to 1, which is applied at the RA4 or T0 clock input pin, or if I am using an internal clock pulse, that is nothing but the frequency which is divided by 4, that is fourth part of the oscillator frequency. Then it will be used as a timer, or it will be used as a counter. And the next one as the timer 0 prescaler assignment bit. Before that, there is a next bit as a source edge selection bit. Now in case of source edge selection bit, if it is 1, then it is going to use it as increment on high to low transaction of T0 clock pin. That means I am going to use the high to low edge. If it is 0, then I am going to use the low to high bit. Then comes the next bit as the prescaler assignment bit. When it is 1, then I am going to use the timer 0 clock input bypass the prescaler. And when it is 0, then I am going to use the prescaler output. We are going to discuss the prescaler in the coming segment of the video. Okay, but as it reference is there in this particular register, we have to see the values of the prescaler. Remember that at this moment I just want to update you that, or from the given value it is also updated that whenever the value which is going to be generated, like suppose the particular time delay which is going to be generated by the oscillator frequency divided by 4 is less, then definitely we can go for the prescaler value to increase our time delay. So at this moment you can remember only one thing: for increasing the time delay, we can always go for using the prescaler one. Now let's discuss the timer 0 clock source. This bit in the TCON register for the timer 0 register is used to decide whether the clock source is internal or it is external, because then only then the function of the timer will be decided, that whether it is going to use for delay generation or whether it is going to be used for the counter application. So if this particular bit is equal to 0, then the oscillator frequency divided by 4 is used as the clock source, and that means nothing but the internal frequency, and the timer are often used for the time delay generation. But if it is equals to 1, then the clock source is external and it comes from the TO clock bit. It is come from the TO clock pin number of this particular pin configuration. Now when the clock source comes from the external source, the timer is used as an event counter, that we already know. Now we are going to discuss the most important bit, that is a timer overflow bit. This particular bit is present in an interrupt control register. So this particular bit is a part of the interrupt control register, just what I said. Now when the timer reaches its maximum value, that is 4 times FH. Why I have considered as a 4 times FH? Because it's a 16-bit timer. I am discussing the timer 0 as a 16-bit one. So it rolls from FFF to 4 times 0. And when it rolls to 000, it sets this particular bit in the interrupt control register. Now to see the operation in more detail, you can see that, as I have told you, for a time delay generation, the oscillator frequency is divided by 4, and then at the same time I need to check this bit, that is nothing but your bit number 7 of the timer control register, which is a timer 0 on off control bit. So I need to check this bit, whether this bit is set to 1, and then only then the value which is loaded in the timer 0 register, it will start counting from that value to FFF. And when it rolls from the maximum value to the minimum one, at that time this overflow bit is set. Now that's how the programmer will come to know that it has reached to the maximum value. There is one more thing to be noted, that even if I say that this particular timer has had counted the 5 count, then remember that on the 6th count this particular bit is going to set, and then only then the programmer will come to know that the timer had reached to its maximum value. That means I can say that 5 plus 1, that is 6 counts or 6 clock pulses are been there associated with this particular timer. Now some important instruction which we are going to discuss here. The first instruction as BSF, which stands for bit set file register. This particular instruction is used to set a single bit of a given file register. And we can see that from the register TCON, that is nothing but a timer control register of the timer 0, I want to set the timer on bit. Obviously I want to turn on the timer. Then I am going to use this particular instruction. The next one as bit clear file register. This instruction is used to clear a single bit of a given file register. Now we can use it as, for example, if I want to clear the same register which I have set in a first instruction, I can go for using this instruction. The next one as BTG port B5. This particular instruction is used to toggle a particular bit of the file register. Here I have to give the number, that is a bit number which I want to toggle. So you can see that from the port B, I want to toggle the 5th bit. Now in this particular segment, we are going to see the timer 0 for generating the delay. We are specifically going to see the timer 0 for generating the time delay. Now to generate a time delay using a timer 0, I am using a mode 16. First we are going to see the step by step. So the first step is load the value in a TCON register indicating which mode is to be used, and select the prescaler option. Mode means whether I want to go for 8-bit or whether I want to go for 16-bit. Then we need to load the timer 0 low byte as well as the high byte of the timer. That is nothing but the initial count value. From this value, now the timer will start counting till FFF. Now, after loading this value, I need to start the timer. We have just discussed this instruction. By using this instruction, we can start the timer. Now, after starting the timer, now it's time to monitor the overflow flag of the timer. So, we are going to monitor the timer 0 IF flag and continuously we are going to observe it whether it is going to be high, when it is becoming high. Once it becomes high, now it's a time to stop the timer. So by using this instruction, that is BCF, I am going to stop the timer. After doing this, now I want to clear the overflow flag so that I can go for the next round. And now in the next round, if I want, I can again repeat from the step 2, that is loading the initial value in the low byte and high byte of the timer register, and again starting the timer, monitoring the overflow, again after that clearing the value in the timer, stopping the timer, and then again starting the things. Okay, that's how I can generate the time delay. Now the next one, as the characteristic and operation of the 16-bit mode, as it is a 16-bit timer. After the value which are loaded in the register with a 16-bit initial value, the timer must start it. The timer starts and it counts in a up direction. That is most important to learn. It counts up until it reaches to the limit value as FFFH. When it rolls over from the FFFH, that is highest value, to the lowest value, it sets high flag bit called as the timer 0 overflow flag or overflow bit. In order to repeat the process of the counting, the register should be loaded with the new value or any other original value also. Now in this particular segment, we are going to concentrate on how we calculate the delay. So we know that the timer works with the frequency of oscillator frequency divided by 4. We have seen this in the diagram. Now from the given data, if I say that frequency of the oscillator is equals to 10 megahertz, then obviously the timer frequency will be 10 megahertz divided by 4, that is 2.5 megahertz. So as a result, each clock has a period of 1 upon f is equals to 1 upon 2.5, that comes 0.4 microsecond. Now the timer 0 count up each 0.4 resulting in a delay. Now how it is going to be calculated? That is number of counts multiplied by the 0.4 microseconds, because that much number of counts will be loaded in the timer 0. That's how from this calculation we'll come to know that how much delay will be generated. Let's see one problem statement. Calculate the amount of time delay generated by the timer when the time registers are loaded with the value FFF 2H value. We have given the crystal oscillator frequency as 10 megahertz. Now here we are going to find out how much time delay will be generated by this timer. Now the timer works with the frequency as oscillator frequency divided by 4. Therefore, this frequency will be 2.5 megahertz as a timer frequency. As a result, the time period will be 1 upon f, that is equals to 0.4 microsecond. Now the timer 0 count up every 0.4 microsecond, result in the delay of number of counts multiplied by 0.4 microsecond. Now the number of counts is equals to the value which is loaded in the timer is going to be subtracted from the maximum count. So that comes as 0.0dh, that is nothing but the 13 decimal value. Now remember that whenever the timer reaches to its maximum height as FFFH, that is a maximum value, it roll back to the initial value as 000. Then it turn on the timer overflow flag. That means it counts one more thing. So that's why we need to add 1 to the 13. That's why the delay generated by the timer will be 14 multiplied by 0.4 microsecond, that is 5.6 for half pulse. We are calculating it for only half pulse. So that's why the total entire period time delay will be 2 multiplied by 5.6, that comes as 11.2 microsecond. Now we have seen the one problem. Let's go for the second type of problem, and that is finding the value to be loaded in the timer. Okay, so let's see the steps. The steps for finding the value to be loaded in a timer 0, low byte as well as high byte. First we need to divide the desired time delay by 0.4 microsecond. I think you know why I have taken 0.4, because I am considering the crystal frequency as 10 megahertz. Now whatever the value which comes, we have to subtract it from the FFFH and then we have to add 1 to it. That's why I have taken the value as 65536. That is nothing but 65535, which is equals to 4 times f plus 1, and minus n is nothing but the decimal value which we are going to get in a step 1. And then we have to convert this value in a hex, and that value will be loaded in the low byte and high byte of the timer 0. Let's see one problem statement. Now the problem statement is, write down the program for PIC18 microcontroller to create a square wave of 50% duty cycle with the period of 10 milliseconds on the port B, 5th pin. We have to use timer 0 to generate the time delay. Crystal frequency is given as 10 megahertz. Now in this problem statement, one thing to note that we have to generate a square wave of 50% duty cycle. That means on time and off time are of equal length. Next, the time period is given as 10 milliseconds. And the next information which is given as, we have to use the oscillator frequency as 10 megahertz. So in this case, we have to find out the value to be loaded in the timer register. Now finding the value to be loaded in a timer register. Now for the square wave which is having the t is equals to 10 milliseconds, the time delay which we have to generate is 5 milliseconds. That is for on time and off time. Simply we are going to generate it for the on time and then we have to repeat it. So the timer, as we know, timer works with oscillator frequency divided by 4. So from this we know that the timer frequency will come as 2.5 megahertz. So as a result, the 0.4 microsecond will be count for up every 0.4 microsecond. So it is simply nothing but one count is equals to 0.4 microsecond. How many counts, then we have to calculate how many counts the counter should count for 5 milliseconds. That is what the problem statement is reduced now. That is how the problem statement is reduced now. And that's why we need to divide the 5 millisecond by 0.4 microsecond. That comes 12,500 clocks. We need to subtract this value from 65536. It comes as 53036. It is converted to hex as C5 2CH, and now this value will be loaded in the low byte and high byte of the timer. Now we are going to see how to write down the program for the same. The first one, as we need to do the first operation, as we need to set the port B 5th as the output bit, because that is what stated in our problem statement. Then now we need to load the timer. Control register. So what I am doing, first I am loading the value to the working register. That value is 08. Simply nothing but I am using a timer 0. I am using it for a 16-bit, and I am going to use the internal clock, as well as I am not going to use any kind of the prescaler. We have seen the format of the timer control register. Now by using this instruction, I am transferring the data from working register to the file register. That file register is nothing but my timer control register for the timer 0. After loading the value in the timer control register, now it's time to load the timer register low byte and high byte. This instruction is going to load the low byte, and this instruction is first loading the working register, and that value will be transferred to the low byte. Then I am again loading the working register, and then I am transferring the value to the particular file register, and that is nothing but the low register. Now after moving the value, now it's time to clear the interrupt flag bit. Okay, because that is what the most important one. So I'm using the interrupt control register. So I'm using the instruction as BCF, which stands for bit clear file register. So I'm going to clear the bit. That bit is timer 0 overflow bit, which is present in a interrupt controller bit. Now I'm going to toggle the port B 5th pin. Why I'm doing so? Because I want to generate a square wave. Now after that, now I'm actually starting the timer by using the timer control register timer on bit, that is a bit number 7, by using the instruction bit set bit. Now after doing this one, now I am monitoring the flag continuously. The flag to be monitored is timer overflow flag of the interrupt controller. Now after that, as once it gets roll on, I need to go for the branch, which is going to be branch again. So I'm continuously monitoring for this particular bit. Now once this bit is set, I have to come out. Automatically it will come out from the loop, and then again I'm going to stop the timer. Now here I'm actually going to stop the timer, and this is what the branch instruction, which is again going here. That means from here now again I'm loading the timer, again I'm starting the timer, I'm toggling the port B bit, and then finally I'm doing the same operation of observing the overflow flag. That's how we can perform, or we can write down the program for the timer. I had taken the reference from PIC microcontroller and embedded system using assembly and C for PIC18 by Masdi and Danny from the publication Pearson International Edition. Thank you for watching the video.